Some of you might have noticed that I haven't been around on the channel all that much over the past few weeks. I have talked about that I was going to take some time. I haven't really taken any time off of my channel since like 2016, where I didn't do anything for an extended period of time. For the past year or so, I haven't been super happy with the channel. I haven't been happy about the stuff that I'm covering. I haven't been happy about the way that I'm doing it. I feel like I'm just kind of on repeat, doing the same things over and over again. A lot of it is, you know, I've talked about how smartphones have become a little bit less interesting to me, and I think that's made me a little bit more grumpy than I want to be. I just really wanted to take some time and step away, let my brain recharge, and think about stuff, because, you know, a year and a half after I went out on my own to do this and be passionate about it, I kind of had lost the passion. The break was partly to see if taking some time off, getting this out of my head, would help with burnout or whatever it is and bring the passion back. And it did, but with a little bit of a different vision for the channel, or a little bit different vision of myself. YouTube's algorithm is kind of designed to recognize patterns, and people who do YouTube are often trained to give YouTube patterns, the same kinds of information over and over again, so YouTube can get to know what it is that you do. And patterns can be creative and artistic, but patterns can also become really sort of paint by numbers and not very satisfying from that standpoint as well. So it starts out that you play the algorithm. You're trying to figure out how the algorithm works and how you can get it to recognize you. And then eventually the algorithm starts to play you. And then things get a little just unsatisfying. If you've been around the channel for a while, you'll know that I've struggled with addiction, alcohol mostly, but also, I mean, I've been addicted to shopping. I've been addicted to, I have an addictive personality. There's something inside of me that wants to become addicted. I have this personality that wants to, that wants the most all the time. And that's alcohol and other things, but it's also an addiction to attention, an addiction to I guess, looking for success. I have really low self-esteem, just like any other addict. And when someone like me has success on YouTube or in their job or anything like that, it's eventually going to turn into a really negative situation where you get wrapped up in trying to hold on to the success with, you know, just white-knuckled fear. I've been trying to please YouTube for a long time. I was trying to please my audience. I was trying to please my peer group of other YouTubers. I was trying to please my family by way of making enough money to pay the bills. None of those things in and of themselves are bad things, but for me, they started to become really toxic. And I had to figure out a way to satisfy all those things and not have the toxic aspect of it. A lot of YouTubers get to this place. Some of them quit, some of them keep going and become parodies of themselves. Some step back and ask if what they're doing is the right thing to do. Some, I don't know, the younger people have the opportunity to do other things, and this is just one step in the journey. I'm kind of toward the other end of the journey myself because of how old I am. I didn't start doing YouTube because I wanted to get YouTube famous. The truth of the matter is I wanted to be blank something famous my whole life, and that in and of itself is kind of a problem. I wanted to prove something to everyone. I wanted to prove to myself that I had value. I was adopted when I was a kid. I've talked about this before. And a lot of adopted kids feel this way. A lot of kids who go through a divorce when they're younger or some other childhood trauma, they feel this way as well. And I recognize that in myself. And, you know, even at this point in my life, I still can't really get past it as much as I'd want to. There's part of me, and I think there's part of other people that think, like, why don't you just get over it? That stuff is the past, etc., etc. Why do you get all hung up on it? Why does it affect you this far into your adult life? And the truth of the matter is, I don't know if you ever get over that stuff. I don't know if it ever really stops. I think you learn that it's part of you and you start to deal with it and you kind of live with it. When it comes to being a creative person, I think a lot of people start down that road, you know, and it's a very naive sort of, I want to be famous, I want to be on TV, or, you know, YouTube famous, or TikTok famous, or Insta famous, or whatever it is famous. It's changing over the decades. I started out that way for sure, but I also had a couple of things going for me. Early on, I was really talented in what I was doing. I was a singer, I was a musician, and that got me through a lot of doors. so that I could build somewhat of a career off of doing that. But as time goes on, I mean, the important thing for me was it became no longer about being famous, like on TV famous, but I fell in love with the idea of creating. And creativity, when you get addicted to it this way, it becomes sort of like the most important thing in your life. There are two kinds of creative people in the world. Those who do it and can't stop, and those who quit. That may sound reductive, but the truth of the matter is the only real thing that separates a lot of people from their success in a creative life and other people who don't have success in a creative life is the fact that they don't quit. I'm almost 50 years old, and I have never quit for some reason. I may have been better off in some ways if I had done so. I mean, you know, the saying, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome is madness. And through a career as a musician, a writer, a teacher, a content creator, whatever it is, the honest truth is, I've always had success. The difference for me is that it's never been the success that I thought would announce to the world that I'd finally arrived, and now I see that is just me in my head. I have not failed at doing this, I've just not appreciated my success. None of anything was ever enough for me. And over the past month or so, that's the conversation I've had with myself about Painfully Honest Tech. Like, what is an extended life for something like Painfully Honest Tech? None of it was ever enough. And even though Painfully Honest Tech has been very successful by many, many measures, I haven't appreciated it for myself. I haven't allowed myself to say that I have had success. And as I pushed further and further, it became more difficult, more stressful, more just overwhelming, and became a vehicle for my self-doubt and my anger about what I still perceived was failure. And if I was going to go on with this, I needed to figure out a way to make that different. For a while, I thought that I wasn't coming back. I thought, this sucks too much, I'm miserable. If I don't chase the YouTube algorithm, I'll just fail more, and that will be more miserable, and I don't know if I can handle that. I was feeling very dramatic. But then I realized that nothing that I'd done to this point had killed me yet. Nothing had driven me far enough into the ground that I didn't get up again. I'm still getting up. I'm still waking up every day and doing this stuff. When I decided to make my YouTube business my main financial income, my main support, it did change how I thought about the channel. It changed how I thought about making videos. It changed how I perceived the people around me and how I perceived myself, and really kind of brought a lot of these failure feelings on, because I was just afraid that the wheels would fall off and suddenly I wouldn't be able to support my family. And that's led to a lot of behavior, a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions that I've had that haven't really made me feel all that great. So in the past few weeks, I just went back and forth about it. I thought about what videos can I make, etc., etc. And I realized that the only way I can come back and do this and be happy and enjoy it and feel like I'm giving something worthwhile to the world is to do it the way that I want to do it. Talk about what I'm passionate about and talk about what I'm interested in and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there is that conventional wisdom out there that if you don't niche down and clearly define your channel for the algorithm, you won't make it anywhere. And that might be true. That might be true. It might be true at some point in a YouTube career, but maybe not others. I don't know. It's not what I believe I can do right now. I can't like narrowly define myself within a hair's width of something. I can't be just the blank guy. I lost sight of why I started making YouTube videos. I mean, yeah, it was supposed to be fun. It was me just talking about stuff that I liked. They say you can't go home again, and believe me, it's true. I've tried. But you can live and learn. You can learn from your experience, and I think that's what I'm doing right now. This channel's still going to be about tech, but at least for now, it's going to pull back from smartphones and that kind of thing and talk about the tech that I still get excited about every day. If you look around this room, I mean, I think you'll kind of get a sense of what that is. So I want to talk about the gear. I want to talk about how to do things. I want to talk about creativity more. I want to bring more of my 30 plus years of experience in doing creative things into the conversation. Will Painfully Honest Tech still be recognizable? Yeah. The big difference is from now on, I'm not going to chase the YouTube algorithm anymore. I just can't do it. It makes me become the worst version of myself. I'm going to take what I know about being successful on YouTube and use it, but I'm gonna make the videos that I want to make. And my plan is to also do more live streaming than I have in the past. There's something about live streaming that I like more right now than doing these kind of like sit down videos. I like the exchanging of ideas and the dynamics of that. I hope you'll all keep hanging with me and we can build this next chapter or whatever of Painfully Honest Tech together. I mean, thank you. I do want to say thank you so much for being a part of this community. Thank you so much over these many years for spending time with me, listening to me, arguing with me, being friends to me. I really do appreciate it, and I can't say that enough. So here's to the next year and all the time after that. Until the next time, I'm out.